Hello. Yes, thank you for being able to meet with me today. I know it's short notice, but I'm glad to be able to meet with you. Yes. I'm just going to pull up my intake form really quickly. All right. So, is your day going well? Oh, that's good to hear. That sounds wonderful. But it's been a busy day. Well, hopefully this session today will be extremely fun and relaxing. I want you to sit back and relax while we go over your travel itineraries I came up with based on our last conversation. Yeah, I know you've been really looking forward to getting out of town, seeing something new. I know for me, vacation is always essential for rest and also to enjoy yourself, especially with those you love. Yeah. Well, I'm very excited today to go over the 2 different itineraries that I created for you, and you can choose between these 2 options, and we can make any adjustments as you need. Perfect. So in our last call, you described to me some of the things you wanted in your trip that you wanted to go on. So I took that feedback and created these 2 unique itineraries that I'll go over with you today. Before we do that, I do want to do a formal intake form just to make sure I can add these itineraries to your file. And then when you decide on which trip option you want to do, we can go ahead and have me start making some arrangements for you. Yes, yeah, my practice here is definitely meant to be accessible for anyone. So, of course, you may not be hoping to spend very much money or travel very far away right now, which is understandable. So I love to specialize in local trips that are close to you, where you live, and you have some great places you can even just drive to that doesn't involve a plane. And I don't think traveling itineraries should be just meant for the big, grand, 2-week vacations. I think even just a few days, a getaway, it's worth investing that little plan to put together so you can truly just enjoy yourself rather than, showing up to some place and not knowing what to do. So that's where I come in. And of course, everything I'm offering today, my service is at a very discounted rate. This is virtually me giving you away free information. So that's what I love to do. I love to help people experience the getaways that truly make them feel rested and like they're having fun while also keeping the budget that they provide for me to keep under. Yeah. Alright, well, let me go ahead and get this intake form ready for you. Okay. Alright. So let's just go ahead and do your first and last name. Just want to make sure I get it written down correctly. Okay. Martha. What's that? Okay, sure. and then an email that I can reach you at. All right. Martha. Oh. Okay. Okay. Gmail.com. Okay. Alright. Okay, I think that's pretty much your contact info. Let's see, and I'm just gonna mark local state trip, Southern California. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Awesome. And then once I go over the itineraries today and you select your trip, I can go ahead and add that to your file, and then I'll email everything over to you, and everything's digital, but you can also have the option to print out everything, and then as we start booking things, you'll receive digital email notifications. Yeah. And then you can print anything out that you need, tickets, etc. Pretty much everything is digital nowadays though, so you don't have to worry about that as much printing. Yeah. Honestly, I use my phone for everything, so it's a godsend. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's all I need for now. We can go ahead and get started into looking at some of the itineraries I created for you. Okay. All right. So I have a notepad for any additional notes, so I can make any quick changes you have for me after our meeting today. And like I said, I printed these out for this meeting, but I will go ahead and email you these itineraries, and you can easily download them to review as well. Okay. Alright. Put that one. Let's do this one first. Okay. Oh, my plant taking over. Okay. So let's see. So the first trip that I planned out is a Las Vegas and Grand Canyon road trip itinerary. So this is what it looks like. So we have the title, how many days, nights, for how many people. Then on this side I have a schedule by day, very loose schedule. And then on this side I have a list of activities, restaurants that you can select from, and then at the bottom we have a budget. So what I'll do is go ahead and give you a close-up of all these different items. Okay. Alright, so I hope that this is a better view for you. I'm just going to go over the itinerary so that you know exactly sort of the plan I came up with. So at the top is the title of the itinerary, so I know you are interested in visiting Las Vegas because that's a short drive away from you, and you also expressed interest in seeing the Grand Canyon, which you've never had seen before. You specified you weren't very interested in camping at Grand Canyon, so I came up with something that allows you to essentially travel to Grand Canyon for one of the days that you're in Las Vegas so that you don't have to spend more than a day, but you still get to see the Grand Canyon, which I know has been on your bucket list for a while. You really specified interest in shopping and restaurants and shows and things to do that are a little bit more city-esque. So I went ahead and did a little combination of Las Vegas to the Grand Canyon for one of the days you're in Las Vegas, and then the rest of the time you can spend enjoying Las Vegas and all the sights and activities there. Yeah, I thought it was a great combination of things you wanted to try out, but also things you're used to, such as exploring a city. Okay, so it's 5 days. Okay, and it's 4 nights. And then also it's a trip for 2 people because I know you want to take your partner with you. Yes. So this is just specifying that the amount of time and who the trip is for, and of course that affects the cost. So in this section over here, it's the schedule. Now when I make schedules, it's basically a recommendation. You don't have to actually go to do everything each day, but I wanted to give you an example of how you could spend your trip each day, and you can adjust it as needed. Okay, so on the schedule we have day 1, and I even put examples of the kind of day because I know you work Monday through Friday, so you can imagine what days you might have to take off work. Yeah, because I know that's something you think about. So it doesn't need to be a Thursday through Monday trip, but it's just an example. Okay, so day 1 is partially a travel day. Ideally, you would leave pretty early and then get there in time to check into your hotel, and then you can go ahead and have some evening fun. So you can see I didn't specify any type of activity because it's truly up to you, and you can select what you want from a suggested list of restaurants or activities and sightseeing. So it's very easy to pick and choose, and then on the actual trip, what you're able to do is, if let's say one location you wanted to try out doesn't work out, there's no more room, or there's no tickets, or it just doesn't work out the way you want it to, you can find a different option, and you will have a list of ideas to immediately try out. So on the first day, it's very much a travel day, so it's a very chill evening. You could really do whatever you want, see the casinos, have a nice dinner at one of the restaurants we suggested, or any other restaurants. There's a ton of restaurants in Las Vegas, as you know. And then day 2 is Friday, so this can be, the next day you have a brunch, and then you can go ahead and have a siesta by the pool. I do recommend purchasing a reservation for some chairs because capacity can get really full by the pools, so you just want to make sure you have a reservation because you'll actually enjoy that the most, honestly. If you have some nice chairs, some waiter service, some shade, you're gonna enjoy yourself far more than if you didn't. And during busy seasons and busy days of the week, like a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I highly recommend getting chairs. Otherwise, you may not even be able to find anywhere to hang out by the pool that's comfortable. So you can really take the afternoon to just enjoy yourself by the pool. Make sure to wear your SPF. And then in the evening, you can go ahead and take a stroll down the strip, which can be fun. I like to walk a lot during cooler evenings because, you know, it's cheaper than an Uber drive, and you can usually just enjoy yourself while you explore. And then you can have any kind of dinner anywhere you want. Then day 3 is a Saturday, and this will be a big day for the Grand Canyon bus day trip. So very early in the morning, this bus Grand Canyon company will pick you up from your hotel around 7 a.m. and they will take you all the way to the Grand Canyon. It's about several hours of a drive, so definitely dress comfortable for going outside. Make sure you pack some snacks and, of course, everything you're going to need for the day. They do make a pit stop on Route 66, which will be a fun little pit stop for lunch. And then you will end up at the Grand Canyon and have at least 3 hours to explore the Grand Canyon, which is plenty of time to take a short hike. There's some low-level hikes that you can take, some trails, and they will inform you about where you can take those when you get there. And then after a few hours, you'll head back to the bus, and they will drive you all the way back to your hotel, and it'll probably be around 9 or 10 p.m. at night. They will potentially stop for you to grab dinner as well. So it's a long day, but they do give you pit stops to get food, etc. They do even give you a complimentary breakfast, continental breakfast in the bus. It's like a little boxed breakfast. So it's certainly a great deal and gives you the opportunity to visit the Grand Canyon without having to, you know, drive yourself, and it will be a unique and fun experience. And then, of course, because you spent the entire day at the Grand Canyon, I suggest really keeping it chill, making sure you just get a nice dinner in. If you have any energy, you can go ahead and explore, but you might want to end up relaxing that evening. Day 4 is a Sunday, and on this day is going to be pretty open to what you want to do. I suggest going to see a museum, show, or maybe you can go to Top Golf, which is like a golfing event. Yeah, it's basically like a place where you can play golf games, rounds of golf with your friends. Yeah, so it's a place where they have basically alcohol, food, but you also get to sit back and watch people play golf and play with each other. It's really fun. And then you also can have a really great evening of fun and any kind of dinner you like. And then for day 5, this is a travel home day, so essentially you can go ahead and basically make this day about heading home and getting back to your regular routine. So that's the 5-day trip. So over here are a list of things to do, essentially. So we have restaurants, and then we have activities and sightseeing. So the restaurants that I like, that I recommend, essentially, that I've tried before and personally recommend, Dick's Last Resort is a great one for brunch. They have a great brunch menu, and it's a very interesting, unique location. So I definitely suggest that. And then there's also the, let's see, what's this? Yong King Street, which is a dumpling restaurant within the Paris Hotel. And their dumplings are so good, and they're actually very well priced. It's not too expensive at all. And then we have Buddy V's Ristorante, which is an Italian restaurant in the Canal Shops, where the Venice Hotel is. Yeah. So it's definitely a great restaurant, very unique and fun to experience. For another more like quick bite or budget-friendly meal, maybe during one of the afternoons or if it's a late night snack, New York Pizzeria is another great not necessarily restaurant, it's more like a quick order place in the New York Hotel. Yeah, it's a quick pizzeria place, but it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not like the most expensive pizza at all, but it does the job. And then another favorite of mine is the Trevi restaurant, which is in the Caesar's Palace area. I'm forgetting the name of the shops, but it kind of looks like Rome, and hence Trevi restaurant. It is so delicious. I definitely recommend it. Then we have activities and sightseeing. So one of the things that I've done before with my partner at Vegas was in Caesar's Palace Hotel and Casino. They have a lot of shops within the hotel itself, and they have this place called the Monte Cristo Cigar Bar. And it is a cigar bar, so if you don't enjoy smoking, I highly recommend you don't go. However, I think cigars, for me, it's like once every 3 years that I partake. So for me, it's not a big deal. But my partner enjoys cigars every now and then as well. And the cigar bar serves alcoholic drinks. I'm not sure about food, but it's such a nice speakeasy environment. So I recommend that a lot, especially, if you have a partner that enjoys cigars, that could be fun for them, but you could also, you don't have to have one, you could just go ahead and have a drink at the bar if that's what you want to do. And it kind of feels like a library bar, very, very cozy vibes. And then Grand Canal Shops, those are great. Representing, Venice essentially, which is always fun, and it's just so beautifully well designed, even for, the fact that it's in a hotel resort area. Then we have the Neon Museum. The Neon Museum is super fun. It's not very big, so it's definitely not going to take up a ton of time if you want to have that as like a little pit stop. And if you check out the Neon Museum, you could also check out, I think it's Fremont Street? I think it's Fremont Street. Fremont Street is right near the Neon Museum. You could take a quick Uber. I wouldn't recommend walking just because the neighborhoods can get a little interesting, but if you want to do that in the daytime, that might work. The Neon Museum is just such a great sightseeing location. It makes you kind of feel like you're really in Vegas, so I definitely recommend it. I wrote down flamingos, and flamingos are actually located at I believe it's the Flamingo Resort and Casino. Ironically, they have a whole little gated area for actual real flamingo birds, and it's just so pretty, and again, it gives off the essence of Vegas. Flamingos just remind me of Vegas all the time, in Florida, ironically. So I definitely recommend checking them out as like a pit stop during your exploration. And then we have the Wax Museum. Definitely also fun, not very long either. Again, something you could do within a short amount of time, but it's also extremely fun to enjoy. Alright, next we have a comedy show. Now I didn't put anything specific because they change all the time, but you will be able to find something if you look online at the time, and I can give you a website URL that you can check out. But comedy shows are everywhere, and I just think it's always a fun idea to try once, and usually they do several comedians, so you can always enjoy a few different people's comedy bits, if you will. A burlesque show is also something really intriguing. I think everyone should at least try to see it once in their life, if they're comfortable, but I think it sounds like a fun idea and activity if you're looking for something fun to do. And again, tickets could fill up for both comedy shows, burlesque shows, especially concerts, but I think it might be pretty easy for you to find something. And then you could also go to clubs or day clubs. Now that might be a little bit more advanced, so I would definitely recommend looking that up right now and before you take this trip, to see if you can get into any of these at the time you visit. And I do believe they tend to switch out from time to time. Yeah. We talked about Fremont Street, and then Topgolf was also another one I also mentioned. Such a fun, casual, laid-back activity that pretty much anyone can enjoy, unless you're really not good at golf. Okay, so then next we have the budget. So these are very loose numbers, and they can change. They don't account for a few things like souvenirs, or maybe you want to buy more extra food. I tried to get all the big items so you could see a baseline, but it's very adjustable and we can work with your budget as needed. So a hotel for 4 nights is about $300, give or take. It could be, again, depending on the season, the days you go, it might be higher, so just keep that in mind. This could easily go up another $200, but the time of year that you want to go in, it's actually a little cheaper, but we may need to double check that at the time. Yeah, okay. Then because you're hoping to drive, because I know you mentioned that to me, I allocated about $100 for gas. Again, it depends on what kind of gas you get, how much it is at the time, but about $100 covers a full tank there and back, to get you to and fro from your home. Okay? And then for food and drinks, I allocated $300. Now, this is definitely a large sum, but it's supposed to cover, obviously, the pricier food. Maybe you want to do an expensive dinner, as well as little meals throughout the day. I know me and my partner, we tend to have 1 or 2 big-ish meals, and then we don't really eat that much the rest of the time because we're pretty full. So definitely keep that in mind. 3 meals a day doesn't always apply to everyone. Sometimes just 1 big meal sort of covers it, and you even can get leftovers, so keep that in mind. Yeah. And this is keeping in mind both expensive and budget-friendly meals, but if you're wanting to go more expensive, again, this can go higher. And then we have the Grand Canyon bus trip. Now for 2 people, it's about $160. Okay. Yeah, it's actually a really great deal, and it completely covers transportation. They pick you right up from your hotel and they drop you off. So that takes care of the day. Also, it covers your park pass, because to actually get in the Grand Canyon, you need to pay for a pass. I think it's about $20 per person. I know, it's crazy. And then pool chairs if you decide to go to the pool from your hotel, and actually purchase some chairs to reserve. That's about $100 for 2 chairs. Now, give or take, it could be a little less depending on the day and the time, or a little more, but it's about $100. And then we have activities. I wanted to go ahead and make sure that we accounted for that. Yeah. So I put about $100 to $200. And then for the total budget allocation, it's about $1,160, and then I showed how it's split per person as well as per day. I know per person's a bit more important because you might want to split between each other. Yeah. So this is the itinerary for Las Vegas and Grand Canyon. Yeah, I'm so glad you found it interesting. Well, I'll definitely send you a file of this itinerary, and you can go ahead and download it and share it with your partner to see if it's something you want to explore. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move on to the next itinerary. Okay. All right. So the next itinerary we have is the Catalina Island trip itinerary. So I know you had mentioned to me on our previous call that you had never been to Catalina, and I really wanted to go ahead and create something that you could work with if you decided to go on this trip. Yeah. So this trip is 4 days, 3 nights. All right. And it's a trip for 2. Now for this one, it's actually a day shorter than the Vegas trip. So you get 5 days for Vegas, but you get 4 days for Catalina. Now the cool thing about Catalina is that you're so close to the port where it will take a ferry. You can take a ferry to the Catalina Island, that you would essentially get there within an hour by boat. So you essentially could leave the first day, which could be a Thursday, and you would end up there within an hour, right? It wouldn't be a few hours driving at all, like compared to Vegas. So you would actually get a pretty full day. So it's almost kind of like spending the same amount of time enjoying Catalina Island as you would Vegas. Okay. So day 1, we have the morning ferry. So you're going to take the ferry from the local port to Catalina Island. So that does cost a fee, but it's actually included in this hotel package I found for you. Yeah, so it will be completely covered. It's a round trip ticket, so it will take you to the island and then back home. Okay. And then the afternoon, once you check into your hotel, can be whatever you want it to be. You can explore the island, stop by some shops, do a little shopping if you want, grab some lunch, maybe go back to the hotel and explore or find out about any information locally. Definitely check in and see what favorite places the locals like, maybe get some inside information, because that always changes and it's always helpful. And then the evening can be dinner and whatever you want that to be. Yeah. And again, just like the other itinerary, I have a list of recommended restaurants and activities and sightseeing. Yeah. So day 2 is a Friday. All right. And that day you could have a nice brunch, and then you can spend time by the beach, or visit the beach, or you could take a little tour, such as the Discover Avalon tour, which is a very short tour and isn't that expensive either. So you can learn a little bit more about the island. And that evening can be your choice of dinner as well. Then day 3 is Saturday. And this day is where you could do something a little bit more extra. So maybe taking the bison expedition, where they basically tour around the island to see bison. Yes, it could be very interesting. Or again, you could swap that out with a different activity. Then I actually really recommend getting a massage from the hotel. The one that I recommend that you stay at offers some great packages, and I definitely think it's worth investing in to really round out your stay. Make it truly relaxing, yeah. And then again, you can do whatever dinner you want or evening, keep it chill or go more fancy, whatever you prefer. And then day 4 is a Sunday. And for this, you can really relax, grab some breakfast, some brunch, maybe go see a museum, before you go. And then you can go ahead and take the afternoon ferry home, or you could take the evening one, and you should be home relatively by the evening time. So that's the schedule. For restaurants and activities, so some of the restaurants are Catalina Coffee and Cookie Co. That seemed like a really interesting place to visit and very popular online. Blue Water Avalon restaurant's also something that was recommended. Steve's Steakhouse is a bit pricey, but it might be a nice fancy dinner you might want to try out. Then we also have, Lloyd's of Avalon Confectionery. Yeah, so it's more like a dessert place. Seemed very interesting. And then there's also like a more diner style restaurant. It's called Original Jack's Country Kitchen. Yeah, Country Kitchen. And then we have activities and sightseeing. So I already mentioned the bison expedition. There's also Discover Avalon. And then there's also, you can get a Catalina massage, which is like the package they offer through the hotel you're staying. There's this place called the Descano, I think it's called Descano Beach Club. And essentially it's kind of like a private beach, but you can reserve chairs, much like in Las Vegas. And you can reserve some chairs and really enjoy your afternoon by the beach in comfort. You get some waiter service, and I think you even get some food included with your purchase of reservation. I'm sure you could also order food there as well. And then there's also the Catalina Island Casino, which is a very popular landmark there. So you might want to just check it out just to see what it's like, and if you don't like it, you don't have to go back, but it might be something interesting to cross off your bucket list there. Then there's also the Wrigley Museum in Botanical Gardens. That seemed like a really nice looking location, so if you wanted to try that out, you can. And then there's also the Catalina Island Museum, which might be very informative and interesting. Okay, so moving on to the budget. So again, these are very loose limits, budgets that we put for each thing. It's just to give you an idea, and of course it will be actually adjusted once you decide on a package or an itinerary. So the hotel that we selected for you is the Hotel Atwater boat package. So the boat package includes the ferry travels that you would need to take. So it's already included. And that is about $907. Yes, for the 4-day, 3-night trip. It's a bit more expensive than Vegas, as you can see. But you can weigh your pros and cons. Now, we did select a pretty pricey hotel, and that's why the price is a little higher. But it is such a nice hotel, and I do think nice hotels truly give you that comfort. If you wanted to lower the budget, we could find a little bit more cheaper of a hotel, but it might not offer the same other incentives, ticket pricing, ferry pricing, or comfort that you're looking for. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Next we have the food and drinks. So I put $300 again. Again, that could change less or more depending on your preferences. The Bison Expedition is about $169 for 2 people. It's a few hours, I think, and it does obviously take you around the island, and you're seeing live animals, so it's a little bit more expensive, but it might be definitely worth investing in. Discover Avalon is actually much cheaper for 2 people. It's about $40. Yeah, so about $20 each. Not too bad, and that's definitely something I think you could try out, and it wouldn't hurt the wallet too much. Then finally, a Catalina massage for 2 people. It's about $185 to $225. It wasn't quite specific on their website how this was split, but you can kind of cross-check with 2 people. That's how much it would cost, or per person. I might need to check if that's per person. Let me write that down. Per person massage. Okay, I might look that up for you and just double check. I'll just make a note. But I highly recommend it. This massage is in the hotel Atwater offerings. So the total budget came out to $1,600. So compared to, let's see, the Vegas one, that's about $500 of a difference, I think. So for $500 more in your budget, you could definitely go ahead and do the Catalina. I tried to keep it under the amount you provided me, and so these were the 2 options that I came up with. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So I'll go ahead and file these up, and then we can see if you have any last questions. Alright, so now that we've gone over your itineraries, put that off to the side. Was there any particular trip that you were interested in? Okay. You like the Catalina trip, but the Vegas one's more in your budget and idea. Okay. That's fair. Let me go ahead and pull up your file, and I will just make a note. Vegas number 1, and then okay, and then I'm gonna make a quick note. Look up massage Catalina pricing for 2. Okay. So I will make sure to double check the massage pricing that we mentioned. Okay. Well, I think that we covered everything today. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and email you the itineraries we went over. Alright, and let me just make a note that this is your file. Itineraries. Okay. And then I'm just going to make a quick note you want to go ahead and select the Vegas one as your choice number 1. Okay. And then your choice 2. Alright. Well, I'll make that note and send these emails over to you. And we will make sure to follow up with you on when you want to start booking everything. Yeah. Alright. Just follow up. Alright. Of course, it's my pleasure. I'm glad that I could provide you some great ideas, and these are going to be invaluable. And if you don't choose, obviously, if you're only choosing one itinerary, you can still have the other one and book that in the future and adjust it for what you are looking for. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I really appreciate it, and I really hope that you enjoy your travels. Do come again next time. Feel free to stop by whenever, or you can email me or contact me, and I will do my best to get back to you. Perfect. Alright, well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Of course.